Our story begins with a boy named Zhou Ming, a university student carrying a heavy load. Half a month ago, he got an opportunity to intern at Chongyuan Company. However, after joining the company, he found himself miserable. Everyone treated him like an errand boy, constantly ordering him around. Life was not easy. As Zhou Ming was filling a coffee cup, he pondered the situation. He had hoped to learn a lot as an intern at this company, but the reality shattered his expectations. Just as he was lost in thought, a girl suddenly appeared beside him. She said, "Once in a while, you have to say no. Otherwise, everyone will treat you like a slave, you know?" Zhou Ming looked at her and gratefully replied, "Got it, Senior Su." He recognized her as Su Ruoqing, a higher-up at the company and his senior sister from university. She had been looking after him during his internship. While lost in his thoughts, Zhou Ming accidentally burned his hand with the coffee and spilled it on his jeans. Seeing his predicament, Su Ruoqing offered to wipe it for him and told him to take a seat. As she started wiping the jeans, she noticed his embarrassment and said, "Ming, are you embarrassed? This sister is not a stranger to you, okay?" Zhou Ming couldn't help but be amazed by her figure and replied in a flustered manner, "Yes." Just then, a man suddenly approached from the side and pointed at Zhou Ming, saying, "Hey newbie! Are you slacking off now? Since you have no work to do, I'll assign you a task. These are some gifts for the autumn festival, and you have to give a gift to each department." Zhou Ming, surprised by the man's request, replied, "That's not my job, right?" The man became angry and retorted, "How dare you? I'm assigning you this task to help you familiarize yourself with each department as soon as possible." Su Ruoqing intervened, offering to accompany Zhou Ming. However, the man dismissed her, instructing her to prepare a report for a meeting and telling Zhou Ming to handle the task alone. Before leaving, Su Ruoqing whispered to Zhou Ming, "Next time, I'll take you out for some drinks. Are you okay with that?" She winked at him. Witnessing this, the man dropped the gifts, accusing Zhou Ming of being slow to react, and left. Zhou Ming, feeling oppressed by the man named Lin Xiang, thought to himself, if it weren't for his need for money, he wouldn't have accepted this job. As he was picking up the gifts, he received a notification on his phone. Taking it out, he saw an advertisement that read, "Are you tired of being oppressed? Are you tired of feeling powerless? Are you willing to put your life on the line? Then this game is for you. Play now." Speechless, Zhou Ming downloaded the game, planning to check it out later. Once downloaded, he opened the game and suddenly his phone started emitting lights, pulling him into it. In the next moment, he found himself thrown out of a portal into an unknown place. As he crashed to the ground, in pain, he wondered, "Where am I?" Just as he was about to assess the situation, he heard a weird voice. Lying on the ground and looking back, he saw a crowd of zombies on the other side of a mesh grill, trying to break through. Astonished, Zhou Ming thought, "Am I in some sort of hyper-realistic VR game? This feels too real to be just a game." While contemplating, a notification sound rang, and a virtual screen appeared in front of him, displaying a message, "Doomsday Tycoon system is now activated and bound to the host for life. You can obtain items with points, and you have already received a skill to travel between the post-apocalyptic world and the original world. Countdown, 12 hours. Observing the virtual screen and the message, Zhou Ming felt overwhelmed and began fantasizing about the future and becoming the richest and most powerful person in the world. As he indulged in his fantasies, the mesh grill in front of him broke down, and the zombies started swarming in. Panicked, Zhou Ming grabbed the gift and started running, shouting for help. Suddenly, a girl appeared and threw a grenade at the zombies, urging Zhou Ming to take cover. The zombies exploded behind her, saving Zhou Ming's life. Grateful, he thanked the girl for rescuing him. She replied, "It's no big deal. I'm a corpse hunter after all. It's my job to prevent them from breaking in." Zhou Ming, moved by her actions, said he had nothing to express his gratitude except the mooncakes. Accepting the mooncake, the girl ate it and exclaimed, "This tastes like heaven." She then gave Zhou Ming some gold, saying, "I can't have them for free. This is for the mooncake you gave me." Zhou Ming astonished by the gold, the girl bid her farewell, hoping to meet again when they had the chance. Seeing her leaving, Zhou Ming called out his name and asked for her name. The girl turned back and replied, "It's Lin Xun. Remember that." Shortly after, Zhou Ming went to a local market, selling mooncakes and proclaiming how delicious his ancestral mooncakes were. People passing by questioned if these were pre-post-apocalyptic food and asked about the price. Zhou Ming replied, 1 gram of gold for each mooncake. Some found the price expensive and wondered if the mooncakes were worth it. However, one man decided to buy half a mooncake. Observing the purchase, others commented on how rich the man was and how mercenaries were willing to spend their money. As they tasted the mooncakes, they too felt the heavenly flavor and couldn't help but praise it. Encouraged by the positive response, Zhou Ming sold all the mooncakes, earning 600 grams of gold. Excited, He thought, if this continues, I'll be able to cover 2 or 3 years worth of salary and even live in a luxurious suite. Suddenly, a person approached from behind, pointing a knife at Zhou Ming's waist, demanding that he hand over everything he had. Fearful, Zhou Ming wondered what he should do. Did he have to give up everything he had worked so hard to earn? As he hesitated, the person changed their mind and said, "Screw it. Letting you live will lead to problems in the future. Just die." Preparing to strike, Zhou Ming anxiously exclaimed, "Teleport me now." As the teleportation countdown was over, he vanished from the spot, leaving the person confused. In the next moment, a portal appeared, transporting Zhou Ming back to the original world. Exhausted, he expressed relief, grateful that the cool-down period had ended. After some time, he took out the gold and excitedly realized he had made a considerable amount of money with just a few mooncakes. With 12 hours left before he could return to the other world, he decided to stock up on more. Later, inside the office, Lin Xiong pointed at Zhou Ming and said, "I told you to deliver the gifts, but you didn't. Do you think I'll let you off?" Zhou Ming replied, "That is not my job. I came here to gain experience, not to be an errand boy," and left. Su Ruoking approached him and asked, "Why did you change all of a sudden?" Zhou Ming looked at her and replied, "Isn't this what you taught me?" While thinking to himself, money really is a man's confidence. Having so much money gave me the guts to fend for myself. Glancing at his watch, he realized it was almost time. In the next scene, Zhou Ming appeared out of the portal and said to himself, "With this much canned beef, I'll definitely earn a lot of money." He looked around, wondering where he was. Suddenly, zombies started appearing behind him, and upon seeing them, he began to run. "I'm carrying too much stuff, they'll catch up to me at this rate," he exclaimed. Zhou Ming quickly opened a can of beef and threw it towards the zombies. Surprisingly, the zombies stopped and started eating the beef. Seizing the opportunity, Zhou Ming hid behind a big boulder, feeling unfortunate for giving away almost half of his food to the zombies. However, seeing them still coming after him, Zhou Ming said, "Seems like you're only interested in human flesh." He opened his system and searched for something to get out of this predicament, eventually using 100 skill points for the graveyard skill. After acquiring the new skill, Zhou Ming engaged in a fierce battle with the zombies. He kicked and punched them, ultimately killing them. Amazed by the effectiveness of the new skill, Zhou Ming exclaimed, "How amazing is this?" Suddenly, a car honked, and a man approached him, saying, "We wanted to lend you a hand, but we didn't expect you to handle them yourself." Curious about the man's identity, Zhou Ming asked, "Who are you?" The man replied, "Can't you tell? We're corpse hunters." Seeing more zombies approaching, the man urged Zhou Ming, "There's no time to explain, get in the car." Hurriedly, Zhou Ming ran towards the car and got inside, with zombies in hot pursuit. On the back of the car, another person handed Zhou Ming a gun, saying, "I hope you're good with guns, as bullets are precious." He started shooting at the zombies, impressing Zhou Ming with his marksmanship. Realizing the importance of firearms in this apocalyptic world, Zhou Ming used the system to gain basic gun mastery. Equipped with this new ability, he started shooting at the zombies, killing them with single shots. Suddenly, a tougher and more agile zombie, a second-class zombie, appeared. The zombie jumped and grabbed the person's neck, slamming him against the ground. Reacting quickly, Zhou Ming kicked the monster and shot inside its mouth, killing it. After defeating the second-class zombie, both men approached Zhou Ming, amazed by his strength. Zhou Ming modestly replied, "You saved my life, so of course I couldn't let you die." One of the men approached a dead zombie and extracted a crystal from its head. Intrigued, Zhou Ming asked, "What is that thing?" The other person explained, "These crystals are formed by the zombies and are ranked from 1 to 9. This one is a second-class zombie's core." He handed the crystal to Zhou Ming, saying, "Take it as my way of repaying you for saving my life." Zhou Ming hesitated, questioning whether such an expensive item could be given to him. The man reassured him, "You saved my life, you deserve it." Moved by the gesture, Zhou Ming thought to himself that being a hunter was not only dangerous but also profitable. The captain patted his shoulder and asked, "You have great marksmanship and skills. Do you want to join our corpse hunter group?" Zhou Ming replied that he would think about it, feeling sorry for his indecisiveness. The captain accepted his answer and said, "If you don't want to, then I won't force you. Come on, let's go to the nearest military camp." Everyone boarded the car, and while on the way, Zhou Ming looked at the second-class crystal in his hands, feeling that something significant would happen with it. Suddenly, the system detected the second-class core and asked if Zhou Ming wanted to convert it into points. Surprised by this possibility, Zhou Ming exchanged the crystal for points. He felt excited when 100 points were added for a single second-class core, thinking he had hit the jackpot. The system then asked if he wanted to purchase additional storage space, as it seemed he was carrying a lot of luggage. Each cubic meter of space required 100 points. Zhou Ming was momentarily surprised but decided to purchase it, realizing he wouldn't have to carry heavy things around anymore. After a while, they passed through a refugee camp, where people begged for food in shabby clothes. Zhou Ming truly felt the grim nature of the apocalyptic world, a wasteland filled with deadly creatures and desperate individuals. They eventually reached the central zone, where Zhou Ming thanked his companions for helping him gain entry. They bid each other farewell, promising to meet again. After their departure, Zhou Ming took out a canned beef from the storage space, contemplating exchanging it for a significant amount of gold and living a luxurious life in the future. Zhou Ming wandered inside the central zone, observing people buying and selling various items. He thought to himself that even if the world ended, common things could still fetch quite a price. Suddenly, a man appeared in front of him, holding a gun, and said, "Hold on a second, little brother. You look quite rich. What do you think about my gun?" Zhou Ming, startled by the sudden appearance and the presence of a gun, replied, "Are you seriously robbing me in broad daylight with a gun? And what does it have to do with me?" The man responded, "Don't misunderstand, I sell guns. I saw you coming into town with some hunters, so naturally, I thought you might be interested in buying some guns." He then began pitching his guns and offered Zhou Ming a 20% discount, selling them for only 5 blue crystals. Zhou Ming calmly replied, stating that he didn't have any blue crystals but had something more valuable than crystals or gold. He would open the man's eyes with canned food. He opened a can of beef in front of him, and the delicious smell made the man drool, and said, "You can give me 5 cans, and can take whatever you want from my small stall." They both agreed on the deal. After inspecting the guns, Zhou Ming asked the man, "Now that I have a gun, do you know where I can buy ammo?" The man replied, "Although guns can be bought legally, selling ammo is illegal. You can only purchase it from the ammunition warehouse." He then told Zhou Ming where he could find the warehouse. After waiting in line for a while, Zhou Ming approached the warehouse girl and asked, "Do you have any ammo for this gun?" He showed her his gun. The girl, seeing the weapon, replied, "Yes, it's 10 bullets per 1 gram of gold." Astonished by the price, Zhou Ming inquired, "Is it really that expensive?" The girl, with a dismissive attitude, bluntly replied, "Bullets can save your life. If you think it's too expensive, then don't buy." Determined, Zhou Ming took out a gold bar and confidently said, "Who said I'm not buying? How much can I get for this gold?" Impressed by his display of wealth, the girl flattered him and provided him with the ammunition, saying, "Unexpectedly, you have gold hidden away. Here's the ammunition." She flirtatiously gave him her business card. Taking the card, Zhou Ming turned around and remarked, "It seems that in this world, as long as you have money, you can buy almost anything. It's getting late, I should head back home." After some time inside Zhou Ming's home, he found himself gazing at the array of weapons and ammunition scattered across his bed. He sighed, acknowledging that at least he now had the means to defend himself. However, his canned food business hadn't been as successful as he had hoped. It was clear he needed to find a way to expand his enterprise. Suddenly, a knocking sound echoed through the room, startling Zhou Ming. "Who is it?" he called out, his heart racing. Then, he realized with a jolt that all the weapons were still out in the open. It would be disastrous if anyone saw them. Outside the door, a familiar voice belonging to Su Ruoking called back, "It's me." Hearing Su Ruoking's voice, Zhou Ming hurriedly responded, "Just a moment. I'll open the door right away." He scrambled to conceal the weapons, hastily shoving them beneath the bed. Opening the door, he asked his sister, "What brings you here?" Su Ruoking held a bag in her hand and replied, "Today, I cooked more food than I could eat, so I brought some for you. Otherwise, I figured you'd end up eating takeout again." Teasingly, she added, "Why did it take you so long to open the door?" Thinking quickly, Zhou Ming made an excuse, "Oh, nothing special. I was just tidying up a bit." As they entered the kitchen, Zhou Ming opened the fridge, marveling at the delicious food prepared by Su Ruoking. He looked at her figure and couldn't help but daydream about marrying her and how she would welcome him and lovingly take care of him after a long day of work in the office. After a while, Su Ruoking sat on his bed and remarked, "So, this is a boy's room? Will I find anything inappropriate if I look around?" To which Zhou Ming replied, "I'm a pure young man. You won't find such things here." But in his mind, he berated himself, wondering why he hadn't stashed everything in his storage space. Looking around, Su Ruoking noticed a metallic object peeking out from below the bed and asked, "Oh, what is this?" Panicking, Zhou Ming knew he couldn't let her discover his gun. In a moment of emergency, he reached out to grab her, but instead, he slipped and ended up falling on top of her. Su Ruoking blushed, taken aback by the sudden turn of events. Realizing his mistake, Zhou Ming quickly stood up and stammered, "I'm sorry, I lost my mind for a moment because you're so beautiful." Feeling embarrassed, Su Ruoking assured him, "It's okay." As she prepared to leave, she said, "Incidents like these are normal for young people." Glancing back from behind the door, she added, "Besides, I'm quite happy to hear you say that," and left the room. Ruefully rubbing his head, Zhou Ming said to himself with a happy smile, "It's hard to believe this actually happened." However, he swiftly composed himself, realizing it wasn't the right time to dwell on such matters. He needed to prepare before crossing over to the other world again. Out on the streets, Zhou Ming pondered over his business strategy. Selling canned food in large quantities would undoubtedly attract unwanted attention and suspicion. He needed something easy to sell that wouldn't raise eyebrows. Lost in thought, he came across a person selling cheap potatoes. Inspiration struck him. Although the profit might not be as high, the demand for food was always significant. Selling potatoes wouldn't draw unnecessary attention, providing a perfect cover for his activities. Approaching the seller, Zhou Ming inquired about the price. The seller, who hadn't made any sales that year, offered him a 20% discount. Excitedly agreeing to the offer, Zhou Ming requested the seller to deliver the potatoes to his doorstep. The seller happily accepted. After a while, as Zhou Ming stared at the enormous mound of potatoes in his home, he felt a sense of overwhelm. He realized he should have calculated the quantity before making the purchase. "This is way too much," he exclaimed. In the next scene, Zhou Ming found himself strolling through the bustling marketplace in the apocalyptic world. As he wandered, he came across a blacksmith hard at work, forging weapons. Intrigued, he approached the blacksmith, who proudly exclaimed, "Come take a look. All the weapons here are handmade, perfect for zombie hunters." Observing the blacksmith expertly shaping the metal, Zhou Ming couldn't help but ask, "Sir, in a world where guns exist, who would still use traditional weapons like the ones you make?" The blacksmith chuckled and replied, "Boy, you seem like a newbie. While guns are effective, they make a lot of noise, attracting hordes of zombies. They also require regular maintenance and ammunition. The best zombie hunters rely on traditional methods." Zhou Ming's eyes widened as he suddenly grasped the importance of conventional weapons. He also realized he could learn their usage through the system or protect himself if he acquired them. Picking up a weapon, he asked the blacksmith, "How do you sell your weapons? Do you accept gold or crystals?" The blacksmith shook his head and said, "I only accept food as payment, nothing else." Taking out 2 potatoes, Zhou Ming hesitantly offered them as payment, assuming the blacksmith wouldn't be interested in such ordinary food. To his surprise, the blacksmith's eyes lit up with joy. He eagerly exclaimed, "Such fullness! The peel has a golden hue, and the smell is simply amazing. I haven't seen such high-quality potatoes in a long time." With great excitement, the blacksmith accepted the potatoes as payment for his finest work, the zombie slicer, a knife embedded with crystals that dealt significant damage to zombies. Handing Zhou Ming a sword, the blacksmith introduced it, saying, "This knife is called the zombie slicer. The more crystals it absorbs from the zombies it strikes, the better it becomes." Zhou Ming marveled at his good fortune, acquiring such a formidable weapon in exchange for a couple of potatoes. He then spent 100 points to obtain elementary sword mastery, eager to learn and master its usage. After a while, as Zhou Ming walked through the forest outside the marketplace, he suddenly sensed the presence of 2 lurking zombies. Reacting swiftly, he unsheathed his sword and remarked, "Even zombies are attempting to ambush me." With a swift stroke, he cut through the zombies, causing his sword to absorb their blood. Gazing at his weapon, Zhou Ming commented, "It has truly become better. Such a remarkable sword." While basking in his accomplishment, a gunshot rang out from the other side of the forest. A red-haired girl, frustrated, had just shot a zombie and muttered in disappointment, "The crystals these level 1 zombies produce aren't even enough for me to buy ammo." Just as she spoke, another zombie lunged at her. Observing the approaching threat, the red-haired girl sighed, "A level 2 zombie? Looks like I'll make some money today." Pointing her gun at the zombie, she fired multiple rounds, only to find it unfazed. The girl thought to herself, "It's still not dead? This gun has too little gunpowder." As she reached for a magazine, the zombie seized her hand with its long tongue, causing her to drop the magazine in the process. Gripped with fear for the first time, she cried out for help, helpless against the zombie's invasive tongue. Suddenly, Zhou Ming appeared from the side, wielding his sword and swiftly slicing through the zombie's tongue. Seizing the opportunity, he attempted to finish off the zombie in one strike, but to his surprise, the creature quickly regenerated its tongue and emitted a screech. It grabbed Zhou Ming's sword with its tongue and flung it away, laughing menacingly. Just then, bullets pierced through the zombie, as Zhou Ming, now holding a gun, taunted mockingly, "Surprised? I have a gun too." Extracting a crystal from the zombie's head, Zhou Ming remarked. Not bad, a level 2 zombie. I guess I didn't waste my bullets. His attention turned to the red-haired girl, and he asked, "Hey, are you okay?" Examining her closely, Zhou Ming noticed that the zombie's poison had corroded her entire body, requiring immediate cleansing. They made their way to a nearby river, and when the girl regained consciousness, she found herself with her upper body exposed, wearing only a shirt. Confused and shocked, she exclaimed, "How did it come to this?" At that moment, Zhou Ming approached, shirtless, and introduced himself. The girl, filled with anger, hurled a stone at him, demanding to know what he had done to her. Catching the stone, Zhou Ming felt embarrassed and explained, "Your body was completely covered in poison from the zombie. If I hadn't helped you wash it off, you'd be dead by now." Covering her face, the girl inquired, "So, you touched my entire body?" With a hint of shyness, Zhou Ming reassured her, "Don't worry, only your upper half." Feeling wronged, the girl grumbled in her thoughts, "DCH, he's seen me naked." Witnessing her distress, Zhou Ming offered her 2 potatoes as compensation. Angrily, she retorted, "Is my body only worth 2 potatoes?" Taking a bite, however, she joyously exclaimed, "These are tasty." Observing her delight, Zhou Ming presented a sauce packet and suggested, "Why eat them plain when you can enhance the taste? Here, add some sauce." Doubtful, the girl asked, "Isn't sauce non-existent since the apocalypse? I heard it ran out instantly because it tasted so good. I never thought I'd taste it one day." With a bite, she savored its deliciousness. Hearing her words, Zhou Ming fell into deep thought. She was right. Since the apocalypse, all manufacturing companies had ceased operations, making sauce a rare and valuable commodity. This realization sparked an idea in Zhou Ming's mind, a way to make money. Just then, the girl asked if she could buy the remaining sauce from him. Perplexed, Zhou Ming gave her a bottle, assuring her that she could have it all. Suspicious of his generosity, the girl wondered who he really was. After all, one bottle of sauce was worth at least 10 pieces of gold, yet he had given it away so easily. With a mischievous smile, Zhou Ming asked if she wanted to continue enjoying such good food in the future. Excitedly, she replied, but expressed her inability to afford it. Grabbing her shoulder, Zhou Ming grinned and said, "You can use other things to exchange, like your body." Feeling shy and confused, she pushed Zhou Ming away. While trying to conceal her chest with her hands, she declared loudly, "I won't sell my body for food and money. I still..." Attempting to ease the situation, Zhou Ming interjected, "You misunderstood me. What I meant was for you to work for me. If you work for me, I'll provide you with food and equipment." Grabbing his collar and shaking him, the girl sternly warned him not to speak in such a weird way. While trying to conceal her chest with her hands, she exclaimed, "I agree to your terms, but I'll only work for you. I won't do anything else." Zhou Ming assured her, while inwardly, he couldn't help but imagine other services she might offer him. After a while, as Zhou Ming and the girl continued their journey through the forest, he remarked, "It seems that near the marketplace, there are only low-level zombies." The girl, now in a new outfit, explained, "There are a total of 9 levels for zombies, but recently, there has been a significant increase in level 3 zombies." Confused, Zhou Ming asked, "But I've only heard of 8 levels of zombies. How is there a 9th? The girl replied, "The 9th level is considered a special kind of zombie. Their strength can vary, ranging from weak like level 1 zombies to powerful enough to overpower level 8 zombies." Suddenly, a foul smell wafted through the air, causing Zhou Ming to wrinkle his nose. Observing his expression, the girl said, "Since water is scarce, it's normal for people not to shower for a week or 2. You'll get used to it." Zhou Ming couldn't help but ask, "So, you also haven't showered for a week or 2? Blushing, the girl quickly replied, "Of course not. I frequently go to the river to shower." Zhou Ming chuckled, saying he was joking. From the side, a silver-haired girl wearing glasses called out to Shunuo, referring to the red-haired girl as Shunuo. She exclaimed, "You're back. Come take a look at what I made." Running toward her, Shunuo asked, "Did the people from the Starving Wolf gang come to cause trouble today?" The silver-haired girl replied, "There's nothing valuable left here for them to take anyway." As she spoke, Zhou Ming noticed her fainting and quickly caught her, gently laying her on the ground. Concerned, he asked if she was okay. Weakly, she replied, "I'm so hungry." Responding to her plea, Zhou Ming handed her a potato to eat. As she devoured it, her eyes lit up with gratitude. Curious, Zhou Ming inquired about the girl's identity. Shu Nuo explained, "I think she's a neighbor." Licking her lips, the girl introduced herself as Wen Wen, a programmer. Shu Nuo scoffed, remarking that there was no functioning internet in their world anymore, rendering Wen Wen's programming skills useless. Sulking, Wen Wen admitted, You're right. No matter how good my programming skills are, they probably wouldn't even be worth a few potatoes." From the side, Zhou Ming encouraged her to continue pursuing her programming, expressing his interest and potential willingness to purchase her work. He pondered the advanced technology present in this post-apocalyptic era, recognizing the hidden talents and potential business opportunities that could arise. Wen then produced a USB drive, explaining that it contained all the data she had collected over the years for her program, the End of the World Encyclopedia. It encompassed information about monsters, geography, resource-related issues, and even offered data analysis capabilities. Intrigued by the program's potential, Zhou Ming asked if it was truly as powerful as she claimed. Clutching the USB drive affectionately, Wen sighed, admitting that it was still a semi-finished product. To complete the full version, she would require more time and additional manpower. Resigned, she agreed with Xu Nuo's suggestion that she should give up on her dream and become a corpse hunter. Taking hold of Wen's shoulders, Zhou Ming proposed a deal. If he provided her with food and ensured her safety, could she find others to assist her in completing the project? Eagerly seizing the opportunity, Wen replied, "Of course. I know some other programmers. As long as you can provide food, all the research results will be yours." And they struck a deal, sealing their agreement. Observing the scene unfold, Xu Nuo snorted and remarked, "If I had all that food, I could also find plenty of helpers and form a hunter's clan." Excited by the prospect, Zhou Ming exclaimed, "That's exactly what I was thinking. If you can gather enough people to join our clan, you'll have access to food, complete equipment, and even the opportunity to become the leader." Xu Nuo's eyes sparkled with excitement, and she couldn't contain her joy as she hugged Zhou Ming, exclaiming how amazing he was. Determined, while leaving she declared, "Just wait, I'll return with people as soon as possible." Half an hour later, Xu Nuo returned with a group of people. Zhou Ming glanced at them and asked, "Are these all the corpse hunters you found?" Xu Nuo patted her chest proudly and replied, "They're all incredibly skilled. If they're well fed, they'll become even better." Zhou Ming took out a large quantity of potatoes and declared, "I come from a faraway place, and I never lie. If you help me, we're brothers. You'll be fed, and the more you work, the more food you'll receive." Whispering among themselves, one of the hunters skeptically remarked, "It sounds nice, but once they encounter zombies, they'll be so scared that they'll probably soil their pants." The other hunter responded, "Ignore him. We can just take the food and leave." Suddenly, a bullet whizzed past them, hitting a tree with a loud bang. Fear gripped both hunters as Zhou Ming, with a gun in hand and smoke emanating from it, adopted a serious tone. He warned them, "If any of you are planning something, don't blame me for not being nice." The other people in the group expressed their happiness, grateful that they would finally have enough food to avoid starvation. They promised to follow Zhou Ming and called him their boss. Hearing their words, Zhou Ming proudly declared, "If I have food, so do you." He led his team to acquire the necessary equipment. After some time, a couple of zombies could be seen walking hand in hand in the forest. Suddenly, bullets pierced through them. Observing the wasteful shooting, Zhou Ming criticized, "Just aim for their heads. The way you're shooting is such a waste of ammunition." At that moment, a burly man wielding a sword angrily exclaimed, "Who dares to shoot in our starving wolf clan's territory?" He glared at Xu Nuo and grew even more furious. He warned her, "It's you again. I've warned you before, you can't shoot prey in my territory, or else." Xu Nuo responded confidently, "Or what?" Meanwhile, Zhou Ming's teammates pointed their guns at the enraged man, preparing for any confrontation that might arise. The members of the wolf clan arrived, pointing their guns at Zhou Ming and his group. The leader of the clan sneered, referring to them as rubbish refugees, and insinuated that merely possessing weapons wouldn't change their situation. He demanded that they hand over their weapons obediently, implying that he might let them go. In response, Zhou Ming retorted, "Did your mommy never teach you that pointing a gun at someone while talking to them is really rude?" With a swift motion, he drew his sword and chopped down on the man's right hand, causing the man to fall on his knees, screaming in pain. Pointing his sword at the wolf clan members, Zhou Ming sternly warned them to return and inform their boss that refugees like them wouldn't be belittled. Enraged, the man declared that Zhou Ming was determined to challenge the starving wolf gang. He boasted about their boss's strength and their ability to take down mutant zombies, predicting a miserable death for Zhou Ming and his group. He intended to leave the scene, instructing his people to report to their boss. However, Zhou Ming stood firm, preventing their departure. He declared that they were not individuals who could be easily bullied. He demanded that they surrender everything they had. Angered by the demand, the man vehemently refused, stating that they would not tolerate humiliation. Yet, after receiving a sound beating, They reluctantly handed over their belongings and begged for mercy, pleading for their lives. Observing their defeated state, Zhou Ming remarked, "Since you all used to bully the weak, we'll consider this as repayment for your past actions." With that, he dismissed them, allowing them to leave. Inside the headquarters of the starving wolf clan, the man whose hand had been chopped knelt before the mighty clan leader, who sat in a commanding position. The man recounted how their territory had been taken and how the interloper had belittled the clan leader, claiming he was lazy and useless, declaring that he wasn't even on the same level and that he was no match for him. Rising from his chair, the clan leader asserted, "Even if you beat a dog, you should know who its owner is." He patted the man's shoulder, assuring him that he wouldn't let anyone who looked down upon their starving wolf clan escape unharmed. Filled with confidence, the man with the chopped hand implored the clan leader to seek revenge on their behalf. However, gazing down at him, the clan leader spoke in a great voice, "But you got so scared that you gave up all of your equipment without even putting up a fight. Our clan doesn't need useless people like you." Despite the man's pleas, the clan leader proceeded to kill him. On the other side, amid cheers, Zhou Ming expressed his joy, "Today, we've gathered a lot of things. Thank you all for your hard work. Eat well and drink well, it's all on me tonight." The group began celebrating their hard-fought victory. The next morning, as Zhou Ming woke up, he groaned with a headache, realizing he must have consumed a considerable amount of alcohol the previous night. Suddenly, he felt a hand on him, only to discover that it was Shu Nuo murmuring in her sleep, mumbling, "One more, let's continue." Shu Nuo, still half awake, rubbed her eyes and exclaimed, "I haven't drunk this much in so long." Looking at Shu Nuo, who was half naked, Zhou Ming felt shy and didn't know what to say. Suddenly, Shu Nuo turned her gaze towards Zhou Ming and made a cat-like face, further adding to his awkwardness. Shaking Zhou Ming angrily, Shu Nuo demanded to know what he had done to her the previous night. Feebly, Zhou Ming replied, "I drank too much, I can't remember." Just then, Wen entered the tent, announcing that she had completed the program Zhou Ming had asked her to make. Upon seeing Shu Nuo on top of Zhou Ming, completely naked, Wen asked if she had come at the wrong time. Both Shu Nuo and Zhou Ming hurriedly denied any wrongdoing, flustered as they tried to explain that there was nothing going on between them. However, their reactions only made it more apparent. Seeing their embarrassment, Wen smiled and reassured them, saying that she knew they were both heavily intoxicated and that there was only one bed in the tent, so she had simply put them together. Standing up while covering her chest, Shu Nuo asked shyly why they weren't wearing any clothes. Wen shrugged and replied, "You two were puking everywhere, so of course she had to take them off." Pinching Wen's cheeks, Shu Nuo said, "You could have left my bra on. I knew you were doing it on purpose." Feeling apologetic, Wen apologized for her actions. After a while, Wen proudly handed Zhou Ming a USB drive, saying that it contained the program he had requested. She remarked that it was practical and easy to use, even for a dummy. Hearing her comment, Zhou Ming jokingly responded, "Are you saying that I'm a dummy? I do no basic programming, you know." Smiling, Wen clarified, "I never said that," and then asked, "But in the end of the world, what use is it?" Confidently, Zhou Ming took the USB drive and replied, "Don't worry, I have a superpower." In the next moment, back in the real world inside the office, Zhou Ming's superior, Lin Xiang, gave him an order and sent him a document, warning him to complete it before leaving the office, or else it would be deducted from his bonus. Irritated by Lin Xiang, Zhou Ming simply responded with, "I know." As Lin Xiang left the office, feeling superior, two soft and large balls suddenly appeared on Zhou Ming's head, momentarily blanking his mind. It turned out to be Su Ruoking, who asked with her soft balls resting on him, "Isn't this workload too much?" She offered to help him, mentioning that lately the company had been investing heavily in a new game, resulting in a crazy workload. Shyly, Zhou Ming replied, "No need, I can do it myself." As Su Ruoking left, she told him that if he needed any assistance, he could ask her anytime. With a sense of pride, Zhou Ming took out the USB drive, declaring, "Let's see just how powerful this thing Wen made." Swimming through the strings of data, Zhou Ming exclaimed with joy, "Wow, that was so fast. It'll probably only take a few minutes to finish the entire process." As he examined the data, he realized that the program even had the capability to hack into other people's computers. Curious to see what others were up to, he decided to take a look. On the other side, a man could be seen ogling at provocative pictures, with a nosebleed. Zhou Ming commented, "DCH, Ching is looking at girls again." Returning his attention to the screen, Zhou Ming made an intriguing discovery. Lin Xiang, their superior, was engaged in discussions with employees from a rival company. It became clear why Lin Xiang had been acting suspiciously. Zhou Ming thought about exposing his fraudulent actions and putting an end to his schemes. 2 hours later, Lin Xiang ordered all the interns to stay, claiming that he had some supervision to do. This announcement left the interns feeling frustrated and disheartened as they complained among themselves. Standing before Lin Xiang, Zhou Ming boldly questioned the ethics of forcing everyone to shoulder his personal workload. Infuriated, Lin Xiang retorted, asking Zhou Ming what he was insinuating and if he had any proof. In response, Zhou Ming simply threw the proof into the air and stated, "Everyone, look for yourself." As they examined the evidence, anger welled up among the interns. They expressed their grievances about Lin Xiang's collaboration with the rival company and making them do their work. Incensed, Lin Xiang pointed at them and dared to threaten them, belittling them as mere interns. He questioned what they could possibly do to him. Amidst the commotion, a man of authority appeared behind Lin Xiang, holding proof in his hand. He calmly asked, "Tell me, what do you think I can do to you?" This sudden presence startled Lin Xiang, who felt fear for the first time. He stammered, attempting to explain that it wasn't what it looked like, but the chief didn't listen. Having already reviewed the evidence, the chief declared Lin Xiang guilty. Addressing all the company employees, the chief opened his arms and stated, "On behalf of the company, I promise that we'll do our best to abide by all the company rules. I have personally been handling the recruitment of new trainees lately. Hopefully, everyone can understand." But Zhou Ming, while leaving, expressed his gratitude to the chief for taking care of him during his time at the company. However, he explained that there were too many internal problems within the company, and he couldn't continue working there. He bid farewell to the chief. Upon hearing Zhou Ming's decision, the other interns also chose to resign in anger. They saw no point in staying at a company tainted by Lin Xiang's actions and insulted him as they left the premises. Looking at the empty office, the chief sighed and remarked, "At such a crucial time when the company needs people for a big project, Lin Xiang, you really messed up." He instructed Lin Xiang to submit his resignation letter the following morning before leaving. Lin Xiang knelt on the floor, consumed by regret for his choices. Outside the office, Zhou Ming addressed everyone and apologized, explaining that the issue was between him and Lin Xiang. He never expected that they would all resign alongside him. In response, the interns stated that they had been enduring Lin Xiang's behavior for a long time, and it would only cause them further suffering to remain. Sighing, one of the interns expressed concern about finding a new job, as it was not an easy task, and they didn't know how long it would take. Zhou Ming reassured them, patting his chest confidently, "Actually, I have some money with me, and I'm also considering starting a company. If any of you need help, you're all welcome to come and work with me." Their spirits lifted, and the interns cheered, eagerly anticipating the opportunity to work for Zhou Ming's future company. They headed out to enjoy themselves, grabbing drinks and celebrating while they could. The next day in the apocalyptic world, Zhou Ming stood outside his tent, lost in thought. He realized that merely making money by reselling goods was not a sustainable long-term solution. Now that they had amassed a certain amount of capital, it was better to gather people and start their own company, creating something lasting amidst the chaos. Suddenly, he heard a loud voice calling out, "Boss! Bad news!" Turning around, Zhou saw two members of his team racing towards him on a bike. One of them urgently exclaimed, "Sister Shu Nuo is in danger." Urging them to calm down, Zhou inquired, "What happened?" Dismounting the bike, one of them spoke with agitation, "Remember when we offended the starving wolf gang? Well, a group of bandits attacked us while Shu Nuo and the others were out buying supplies. In order to protect us, Shu Nuo bravely drove into the bandits and led them into the forest to distract them." Taking a seat on the bike and revving the engine, Zhou instructed them to return to the base and call for help while he rushed to save Shu Nuo. Accelerating onto the road, he felt a surge of determination. The starving wolf gang is truly infuriating, he thought. He never expected them to strike when he was absent. "Hold on, Shu Nuo. I'm coming," he exclaimed as he sped towards the forest. On the other side, a car could be seen maneuvering through the dense forest, pursued by a group of bikers. One of them jeered, "This is our territory. You think you can escape? Dream on." Inside the car, Shu Nuo seethed with anger. "This can't be real," she muttered to herself. Suddenly, the bikers swarmed the car, forcing it to a stop. "Hey there, pretty lady. Where do you think you're going?" One of the bikers taunted, brandishing their weapons. Another smirked and suggested, "Let's take her back to her boss." Just as tension filled the air, an explosion erupted behind the bikers, leaving them startled and fearful. One of them nervously questioned, "Did the car just explode?" Confusion hung in the air as something struck one of their heads. Desperately searching for the source, the remaining biker trembled, pointing and stammering, "That's not a toy. It's..." Before he could finish his sentence, a bomb detonated on his head, showering the area with grisly remains. From the side emerged a cute little girl with beautiful silver hair, her name Tina. With an adorable smile, she cheerfully addressed the bandits. "How could you guys bully a girl like that?" She made a scary face while holding a cute bomb in her hand. She threw it towards them, exclaiming, "I absolutely love exploding bad guys like you the most." The bomb detonated, scattering the dismembered bodies of the bandits through the air. Brimming with delight, Tina gleefully expressed, "When fighting against bad guys, you must always use extremely big firepower." Stepping out of the car, Shunuo couldn't contain her joy. "Tina, it's you," she exclaimed, rushing towards her. Tina, equally thrilled, grabbed Shunuo's arm and exclaimed, "I was just passing by, blowing up a bunch of zombies, and who would have thought I'd stumble upon you here?" Concerned, she asked, "Are you okay?" Overwhelmed with relief, Shunuo replied, "I finally managed to escape." Grateful tears welled up in her eyes as she thanked Tina for saving her life. The two embraced each other tightly, a heartwarming moment of pure happiness amidst the harsh realities of their apocalyptic world. Emerging from behind a tree, a shadowy figure made itself known. "I never expected you to possess such power after awakening," the figure remarked with surprise. In that desolate place, encountering another awakened individual was beyond their expectations. Stepping out of the shadows, the figure revealed himself to be none other than the clan leader of the Starving Wolf clan. "It appears that the world is truly small," he mused, contemplating the unexpected meeting. And this is how the third part of this manhwa ends. Well, guys, if you liked this video and want a part 4, comment below with the word part 4.